Oh, shalom. All right. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, what time of the year. The protests are still strong in America because this place is very divided. And as we go on through 2026, it's going to prove how badly divided that America is to the point where it just can't come back together under any circumstance. And I think that's how it's going to end for America. A lot of internal fighting. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So they've had big ICE protests going on in Minneapolis. They're protesting for ICE to leave. But we know ICE is not going to leave. They are going to remain in Minneapolis because there's a lot of work they got to do. So they're not going to leave, but these folks are protesting. Boy, the protests are so different when we're not out there. Definitely not as effective. So, okay, give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay.
You're looking live at downtown Minneapolis, where a protester dressed in a full-body foam hand flipping the bird is somehow outrunning federal agents on what appears to be an oversized office chair with wheels. This has been going on for several blocks now.
For those wondering what's going on in the Twin Cities, in Minneapolis, and in St. Paul, we are at the point where people are starting to be hidden in other people's homes. I'd been wondering when this would happen, and I was talking to someone on Friday, and they shared that they are doing this and that they know that they're not the only ones. And so I don't share this to spread more fear, but if you're waiting for the bottom to fall out, I think we're really close, and I can feel the eyes on our cities leaving. And I just share this to try to bring them back because the stakes are so high. And while there might be a narrative that things have gone softer, that it's less hostile, that it's less dangerous, that is not what we are experiencing here. So in my bio, there is a link to a bunch of mutual aid.
Please give them money.
And I don't know. I'm so blown away and inspired by how people are sustaining their level of resistance. But part of that is because we feel the support of people outside of the Twin Cities. So please support us. Don't look away. We need you. We are at the hiding people in our basement part of this.
This is currently taking place in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
There's well over 10,000 people now in downtown Minneapolis. And honestly, I don't know where most of these people came from. They just literally came out of nowhere. Yellow buses were dropping people off, things like that. Everybody's yelling ICE out.
Who sent those buses and who's paying for those trips over there? And to think that this is not really happening because ICE is bad. It's happening because who is in the Oval Office? Because I can guarantee you, if it was a Democrat sitting in the presidential seat, you would not have people out there coming in droves. You would have blue people all over social media applauding the acts of that president simply because he's a part of their blue group. But because everyone on their side despises the orange man, ICE bad, Trump bad, little do they know that that orange man in the office has his finger on the Insurrection Act. And what you guys are doing right now just might trigger it. ICE isn't going anywhere. And this show of force looks like you're making a point in less than 20-degree weather. You may soon hear that the National Guard is going to be on their way to Minneapolis. And there is nothing that you can do about it.
Biden! My tax money paid for this! Go! Enough! Get out of Minnesota! Enough! Yes!
Immigration officers in Minnesota are arresting people for following them.
They're getting smarter. They're learning how to avoid observers. They're learning how to scare us.
This is Becky Ringstrom. She was driving home in her SUV after following immigration officers when she was boxed in by several vehicles. 6 masked officers jumped out, and then she was arrested. It's the latest detention for violating this section of the U.S. Code. It's a catch-all charge for anyone who, quote, forcibly assaults or impedes a federal officer who's conducting their duties. And it's being used a lot more under Trump. We reviewed court records and found that the Trump administration prosecuted at least 655 people under that charge since Trump's crackdowns began last summer. That's more than double the same period the year before. The Department of Homeland Security said assaulting and obstructing a federal officer is a felony. They said ICE officers use the minimum amount of force necessary to protect themselves, the public, and federal property. In January, a federal judge in Minneapolis said that a vehicle following ICE at an appropriate distance did not justify a stop or an arrest, but a federal appeals court later paused that decision.
They let the street blocked off. There's like a big
Okay. Yeah.
What was that Mayday? And they let the street blocked off. There's like a big
Okay. Yeah.
You are under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of officers. You are under arrest. Be seated where you are and follow the directions of officers.
We're gonna slow down a little bit.
Conservation officers out here.
My car's that way.
Conservation officers.
They're pushing us back. I parked over there. Sorry. How do I get that?
Conservation officers out here. They just protect lakes.
How can I get that way? How can we go to his car? How can I go that way? Violate our Fourth Amendment.
The Constitution is turning the corner right now. I don't know if you can see it, but it's full of signatures.
ICE supporters are throwing off anti-ICE protesters by randomly blowing whistles throughout the city of Minneapolis. What's these people?
This is the truth about the protests you're not being told. So this is Edina. This is the city that I live in. And we are right off of West 50th Street. And if you can see here, there are not really protesters, but this is something that I've been telling everybody about since the last video that I went and posted for you. Now, remember the last time we were able to see that there was an elderly care facility within a couple of blocks of where the protests took place. Multiple elderly care facilities right here. So at this point, what you need to really ask yourself is, how much of a coincidence is there between the last incident and this incident, and it's all occurring within walking distance of elderly care facilities, and here we have elderly protesting again in a different part of town. If this doesn't serve as a viable piece of evidence that supports the claim that these are funded operations, I don't know what else will.
I just think ICE needs to get the fuck out of our state. Are you from Minnesota? Yeah, I'm born and raised. I want them gone. They're doing nothing but causing terror and stress to everyone I know and everyone I love. Get them the fuck out. That's it.
What kind of stress have you experienced yourself or others that you know? Anything?
My friends are afraid to go to work. They're afraid to do their daily lives. Nothing is okay right now in Minneapolis and St. Paul. They need to get the fuck out now. This is not okay.
The people that might, be watching from, because I'm not from here, and I have friends that are like, is this exaggerated?
It's not exaggerated.
Okay.
It's fucking horrible here. They need to fucking leave. Our state leadership needs to do something about it. No one is doing anything, and it's continuing. It'll persist until something gets done.
You think this is the administration's fault? Who would you blame?
Trump. Easily, yeah. He's shown so much discord and hate, especially towards Minnesota, that it leads to shit being like this being okay.
Now, we're at the downtown protest here at South 6th Street. It's a Friday, 2 o'clock. Guys, it's happening every week at 2 o'clock on Fridays. 2 o'clock Saturdays, you can come out here. It's very warm, beautiful weather out today. It is a little windy, but you don't really need gloves today.
The one you're using ain't working, buddy. The one you're using ain't working.
Okay, you ready to get up nice and slow?
You guys gotta pick me up.
Yeah, we will. We'll pick you up. We're not going to carry you. I'm not going to carry you. So you walk? We'll go nice and slow.
No, because you guys have been beating me. You guys have been beating me.
1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we ready? Yep.
My ass crack is showing. Woo! Power to the people!
If you have a working microphone down there. We're gonna go up here.
Whoa, buddy, come on! That's gonna move escalation.
Where's your face?
It was a guy in one of those.
Again, I'm not gonna. If I cannot run you, you wouldn't deserve your job. But I know I can't. I'm just trying to. I understand.
Get there. Yeah, they're hopefully they're gonna get out of here. I think that's all they want.
Come on, please. Oh, your mom.
Peaceful protester. Not resist.
All right. So, you know what? Let the protests continue because they're going to go on all throughout the year. And ICE, they're still hiring for ICE. So expect ICE to get bigger out in these streets nationwide. They're not going to get smaller, they're going to get bigger. And they're ready to shell out all kinds of money to hire these ICE agents. So it is what it is. America the divided. America that's in pieces and will never come back together again. So, y'all, thank you for being here. I was not going to make this one long. So, please enjoy the rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow on all different topics. Shalom, family.